Okay, welcome everyone to the grand finals of NPSC 2021. Let's get started with the junior category. Can I invite Mr. who's already ready? Yes, can I invite Mr. Jaden Chang to present a speech? Take it away.
Can you hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Thank you, Judge. The most painful part about growing up was understanding my emotions. Emotional intelligence was not something that came easy to a young boy like me. It took me trials and errors to understand what it means to feel and to know what I'm feeling. You only live once. Don't waste it being sad, are the words I often hear when I'm down with the blues. I was taught that in any instance of which I felt disappointment, sadness, and especially failure, I shouldn't waste my time experiencing those emotions, and I should move on to other things to seek joy upon. The logic behind this is that we only live once. Hence, there should be no room for any negative emotions, only the good ones. This, however, has created a society that is crippled with hidden fear. The fear of feeling the full spectrum of their emotions as they'll be seen as weak, small, and perhaps even worthless. For many, they tend to push away the sad thoughts and try to live their life with a facade that writes only happiness in their forehead. Hello, my name is Jaden Chang, and today I'll be talking about why it is okay to be sad in a YOLO life. Like many others out there, I was always conditioned to believe that there was no logic and reasoning for my sadness. It was irrational. It was the spur of the moment, and that everything was going to be okay. We are taught that life will always get better, that progress is linear, but that is far from the truth. I've learned that progress, achievement, and happiness is a journey happening on bumpy roads. It was one that wasn't straight nor clear. It was bumpy, it was curvy, and it was definitely non-linear. And that is the truth that no one really likes to hear. That life is hard, and we will always face struggles, fears, and challenges. Thus, the idea here is accepting these emotions as part of the journey, not avoiding it. As for the ones who hide behind their mask to tell everybody that they are the ideal person living life to the fullest, is actually someone that has lost the meaning of it. They are not living life to the fullest. They merely believing they are. And there is the difference between believing and what is actually true. Ladies and gentlemen, the feeling of sadness, anger, depression, or disappointment are not wasted emotions. They are not going to reduce your experience you have had. In fact, they empower and embolden it. They make up your living experience. But, moreover, your sadness is valid. Life is hard. And if you think that it is always going to be easy, it is a lie. We deserve to be able to feel sad and angry at life. And in this, we also need to know that it is okay to feel sad and angry. The pursuit of happiness by mankind is one that is never-ending. In a never-ending journey, it is important to feel all emotions before arriving at the happiness we seek. It will make your time worthwhile. And the struggles, fears, and challenges prove just how much you are willing to go for your happiness. You only live once. Accept your feelings, accept yourself. Life is worth living. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jaden. We will not be doing a Q&A session, so we'll just be doing speeches. So thanks a lot. We'll move on to the next speaker. So for the next speaker, can I call upon Mr. Gabriel Chang Yu Zi.
Hello, can you hear me and can you see me?
Yes, crystal clear.
All right, thank you. Can I start now? In society, we are taught life is short. We should make the best out of it and not waste time on any ends. However, many fail to understand that life is beyond just doing something, working on something, building something, or going somewhere. My question is, since when is doing something a prerequisite to living? Hello, my name is Gabriel Chang, and today, let's uncover the real meaning of a YOLO life. Growing up, we have been indoctrinated by the society that we only live once, that life was something valuable and should not be taken lightly. This doctrine was especially targeted at youths like me. You know the saying, youth is wasted on the young, and that young people are not optimizing their youth well enough. This has become a dangerous doctrine that has misguided so many bright minds to believe that in all the things they did, if it wasn't productive, if it wasn't fun, if it wasn't an achievement, then it meant nothing. But I seek to challenge that doctrine. I seek to understand why people always need to opt themselves into a never-ending cycle of work on their projects, work on their new project while having another open, to strive for an achievement. And that if they don't, they are nothing. I would like to offer a counter proposal to challenge this idea. First, I think it is important for us to realize that as humans, we do not live to just build the economy. We do not live to instill so much value in ourselves only to be exhausted for companies and organizations. We do not live just for science. We do not live to always believe that there's a must to make a contribution to society. If we are not, we are nothing. We live for ourselves. We live for our personal objectives and desires. In essence, life is made up of poetry. It is made up of beauty and carefulness that we often overlook because we are so busy chasing these achievements and working so hard towards proving to others that we are living. What we fail to practice here is that we need to live for ourselves, not the person others want us to. We need to take a step back and observe that in the chaos of the world, there is still kindness, there is still beauty and serenity, there is still love and compassion. Most importantly, our existence as a person is not validated by how much we have worked and contributed to the society. Our existence is completely valid to just exist, to just listen to the sound of the world as it moves, and to observe both chaos and stillness that the world is made up of. Our existence is still valid if we choose to rest, to lay in bed all day, to just eat and watch Netflix. Sure, we only live once and we shouldn't waste it. But are we really wasting our time if we choose to observe, to listen, and to bask ourselves in peace that is defined by ourselves? Of course not. Ladies and gentlemen, you only live once. Your best life does not need comparison and validation. Just remember, every existence, every life is valid, no matter the experience and contribution. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Gabriel, for that amazing speech. Now let's move on to the next finalist in the junior category. Can I invite Miss Nur Irdina Amani?
Hi, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Can I start? Can you just imagine our great-grandparents at the age of 80 to 90 still able to contribute their brilliant ideas and are notable in history? Amazingly, their story is recorded in the Guinness World Records. It's too good to be true, right? But then, they face a lot of challenges throughout their entire life and yet succeeded. Henry Ford, Colonel Sanders, and Mahathir Mohamad are the examples. Their journeys were remarkable and extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up! You only live once. Let's take risks to test our limits. The starting of a new phase. We're in the midst of restructuring our daily lives by using new methodologies to face our current pandemic, makes our goals harder to achieve. When socio-economic affected, when education affected, when livelihood affected, it caused the highest level of unemployment in June 2021 with a rate of 4.8%. This is the bleak truth currently happening based on the Department Statistic of Malaysia. Only those with a strong heart and strong mindset will be able to cope and survive to our new phase. Let's take a deep breath. Think positively on how we collectively can survive through this. First, start living a well-balanced life. To live your best life, you must first take care of your own body. Accelerated by the current situation, work from home and also endless lockdowns, this puts a huge amount of pressure on our physical and mental well-being. Living a well-balanced life with lots of exercise is an incredibly easy way to increase happiness and build resilience to the physical changes of our body. At the same time, it helps attain a strong and positive mental well-being. Being healthy is very important so that we get to live our life and achieve our dreams without being stopped by health issues. Secondly, face your fear. Whether it's a fear of failure, loneliness, or the unknown, it can stop you from living your life to the fullest. During this time, life can be very uncertain, and that is very scary to some, and might put a hold on making new and exciting plans for the future. Never stop. There's a saying that goes, if you never try, you'll never know what you're capable of, by John Barrow. Lastly, accept yourself and your shortcomings. There will be time in your life when you will face rejection, and there will be people who will not like you or your choices. The pandemic will make more challenges for you to face, but it should not stop you from moving on to find what you're good at. Regrets will only hold you back in life. If you spend all your time thinking about the past, you will miss the great things that are happening in the present. As the Disney Ice Queen once sang, let it go, let it go. Accepting who you are despite adversity helps you to move forward in life. To conclude, remember that you only live once, and we have to make the best out of the days we have. Do the things that are enjoyable and live your life to the fullest, even though we are struggling in the current situation. Seize your day to make your life extraordinary. Chase your dreams to ensure you have an inspiring story to tell for the rest of your life. Hashtag YOLO. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Irdina. Let's move on to the next participant in the junior category. Can I invite Miss Tanusya Manimoto?
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
A fond memory that would still bring a smile to my face in school before the lockdowns was of my friend Amira at our science lab. We were told not to do anything without our teacher's permissions. We all know what happens when we're specifically asked not to do something, right? It seems that our heads omit not every single time. Amira was so curious, so she decided to mix lithium and potassium into a Bunsen burner. Like any interesting science lab adventure story, it ends with an explosion. Thank God it was minor and nobody got injured. When our teacher asked her the reason for that action, she just said, YOLO. You only live once. It is a new iteration of calling living life to its fullest extent, even embracing dangerous behaviors, which carries inherent risk. Pushing it further, YOLO means living every day as if it's our last. I guess an issue I have with YOLO is that it doesn't mention that you also die once. But oh well, being young, we think we're generally immortal, right? Personally, YOLO has supported me with my own internal struggles. It has helped me evaluate my self doubts and fears. There is a reasonably similar mantra used in the latest Pixar movie entitled Luca, where a character tells to himself, Silenzio Bruno, when doubts and fears begin nagging anxieties and insecurities. It really comes in handy when inner conflict ensues, like now when I'm competing in public speaking competition. YOLO as a mantra provides assurance I need to make the hardest first step out of my comfort zone. The YOLO mindset has allowed me to ponder on realities on how short life can actually be. It has pushed me to try new things as well as not dwell on my mistakes. It makes me appreciate life more and focus on my time on doing things that allow me to be an even better me, like baking, learning new songs on the piano, and mastering a new trick on the trampoline. YOLO gives us the permission to do what we feel because we only live once. If we're not going to do it now, when are we? However, as much as I would like to think being a YOLOer is awesome, there are also some things about YOLO that I don't agree with. To begin with, YOLO has another side that can endorse bad judgment and danger. When people are given the signal to lose a sense of responsibility in a moment, this mantra runs a high risk of being very, very destructive. It can easily derail people from a proper life plan to become successful individuals at school, at work, or even in their own communities. Another observation is that the YOLO lifestyle favors extroverts over introverts, in which it's execution. In my opinion, YOLOers who are mostly extroverts tend to focus only on the excitement, which is making the introvert part of me feel pressured, antisocial, not fun, and lame. Like, hey, I can YOLO by being alone in silence too, you know. Also, why is it okay to tell introverts to come out of their shells or to get out of their comfort zone, but it isn't okay to tell extroverts to just be quiet for a while to make a comfort zone? Hear me out. Instead of only promoting YOLO, why don't we also promote JOMO, which is joy of missing out? The main benefit of JOMO advocate is a conscious regard for self-care. Saying no used to be frowned upon, but with the highlighted importance of time and mental health, it has become a powerful form of defining self-value. You can have a productive downtime being a JOMOer. You can do me time activities like scrapbooking, journaling, reflecting on recent events, and play fun games with your family. Also, in the advent of the pandemic, the skill of finding joy in missing out has become a golden ticket to thriving in the new normal. After all, how can one YOLO with the current pandemic and with all the strict SOPs? Thank you.
All right, thank you for that speech, Ms. Tanusya. And now to round off the junior category, we have our final contestant. It's I have Miss Ning Marn. Ning Marn. You have.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Hey, you wanna do the Skull Breaker challenge? It will be fun. Do you see the new trend, the pass out challenge? Yeah, let's do it. YOLO. Although YOLO does mean that you don't have another attempt to redo your life, you should also take into account the responsibility of your actions. When trends like the Scarbreaker Challenge or Pass Out Challenge pops up, most teenagers or even kids have no problem trying it out straight away. the motive of YOLO propelling them forward. YOLO might be a great advice to say, but when someone dies or gets hurt, this phrase cannot save anyone or help a grieving family. YOLO doesn't give you the freedom to do exactly what you want, like jumping from a building to another because you thought it was cool, or holding your breath underwater for so long in a bet for money. There are consequences for your actions. You need to think about other people other than yourself. When doing things that may potentially harm you and others, it doesn't seem like such a fun thing to do anymore. In fact, some might think that you are trying to self-suicide yourself for doing such reckless things. Imagine trends like the Blue Whale Challenge causing people to eventually commit suicide. You may say that most people wouldn't do this or dare to try it. But in fact, teenagers, kids, they aren't aware of the consequence, and all they are worried about is getting left out of a trend and being bullied if they don't do it. Or the Kiki Challenge, a trend where people dance to the song In My Feelings beside a moving car or on top of a roof. And because there were so many celebrities doing the trend, people who look up to these celebrities would try it. But what if they were ran over by a car or fell down while doing the challenge? How about jumping from one building to another? Or lighting yourself on fire because it was a dare or just for fun, but you end up risking your life? Imagine being the person who created these challenges. There is a social responsibility that you have to carry. That putting the hashtag YOLO would attract attention. But there comes the possibility that lives could be ended and destroyed. That someone can get injured, their lives ruined. Speaking as someone who likes to follow trends too, it is important that you keep in mind what will happen if you do this. Is it really worth the experience? What happens if something goes wrong? Is YOLO really worth it? Worth your life? Remember that you have people who care for you, people who love you, and what will happen to them if something goes horribly wrong? In the end, YOLO is a great advice to enjoy life and do something extraordinary. But it doesn't sum up all the bad decisions that you make. It is absolutely important that you think before acting, that you fully take into account what you are getting yourself into. You only live once, so think before acting. If you do, you'll be well on your way to reducing injuries and eliminating extreme risks. Now I'll say it. YOLO! Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that speech. All right, and that rounds up the intermediate junior category. Now we move on to the intermediate category. Can I invite Mr. Kvanh Eeson to open up? Yes. All right.
A second. Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. My grandfather once told me, Kevin, if you want to reach far, you are going to need to work hard. Now I want you all to keep that quote in mind for the rest of my speech. And with that, panel of adjudicators and fellow friends, from young, we've all been told that the secret to success is hard work. We've all been told that the secret to success is working every day, day and night. We've all been told that if you want to achieve straight A's or get into the school football club, you are going to have to work day in and day out. That's why, ladies and gents, both you and I, we work day in and day out. But don't get me wrong, today's speech is not about the importance of hard work. Because truth be told, if you want to get anywhere in life, you will require the effort. It's simply true. However, today I'm going to show you that hard work, our so-called secret to success, is actually the cause of an appalling underlying issue. And that issue, ladies and gentlemen, affects all of us. That issue is that when we work hard to achieve our goals, the sheer stress that we accumulate is unbearable. Now, many of us will experience something called burnout at least once in our lives. This is when we're working passionately for something, but just like anything we work on, we release stress. However, we decide to contain the stress. We allow it to accumulate and prolong inside ourselves. And soon, this stress builds and builds and builds until we can no longer contain it. All that stress bursts all at once, causing us to feel emotionally drained. We're so overwhelmed with these new worries that we lose that drive to work. All that fire within us to make something great out of ourselves burns out. Burnout is the reason as to why so many of us give up on our hopes and dreams. So therein lies the question, what can we do to make sure that our hopes and our dreams do not vanish in the blink of an eye? Well, the answer is actually quite simple. Remember the quote that I started with? The one about my grandfather? Well, truth be told, he said a lot more than what I told you. What he really said was this. He told me, Kevin, if you want to reach far, you're going to have to work hard. It will be tough, but relax. Just take a deep breath and carry on. You see, ladies and gents, the true secret to success is never just hard work, but rather the real secret to success is taking a break. It's giving yourself some time to recharge. It's giving yourself some time to relax. It's giving yourself some time to reflect. And when you're ready, you can get back to work with a renewed sense of motivation. So ladies and gents, we all have our own hopes and dreams. And truth be told, we'll all struggle from time to time. But relax. Just take a deep breath and carry on. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. And we move on to the next speaker. Can I invite Anshula Puja? Anshula Puja.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Right. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, a line that conceptualizes Carpe Diem. Over the years, Carpe Diem has turned into a famous line that will soon be the motto of hundreds of youngsters around the world. YOLO, you only live once. Ladies and gentlemen, let me paint you a picture. You're living in 23 BC, where you're draped in cloths and watching gladiator fights in the Colosseum, a time where humans had very little access to information. How is this even relevant, you may ask? You see, during these times, philosophers tried to find the meaning behind life and its ethical purpose. And one of the most famous philosophical phrases was uttered by a Roman poet, Horace, who said, Carpe diem, quam minimum credula postero, which actually means plucking the day and putting very little trust in tomorrow. This phrase would make waves as a mindset in making the most of a present while acknowledging the limitations in predicting the future. Horace most likely did not predict how his phrase would echo through multiple generations as civilizations progress. Ladies and gentlemen, today I will be pointing out the art of perspective, how referencing philosophy and media in history can flip its original meaning on its head. Now, let's fast forward to circa 2012 of the major reference to Carpe Diem. You're bopping to the new Drake track and you hear the phrase, YOLO, you only live once, which at the time was interpreted as promoting a hedonistic lifestyle where you have nothing to lose. The Canadian rapper would represent a generation of young fans yelling YOLO as a justifiable means of their choices. Ladies and gentlemen, the irony of equating YOLO to Carpe Diem is actually in its interpretation. From the beauty of picking flowers as a metaphor for mindful awareness to the aggressive concept of seizing your existence as engineers of your own happiness. Just as how Drake had his own interpretation, we now have multiple interpretations of YOLO itself. How meta is that? Ladies and gentlemen, Carpe Diem does not only exist in a commercial song, but in a commercial market too. Just like how Sun Tzu's The Art of War is a staple to business strategists to this day, we can see how Carpe Diem has indoctrinated consumer culture. Notice how brands use countdowns to sales, the famous limited edition, buy it while you can, or popular phrases like just do it. Through philosophy, psychology, and marketing, the business industry upholds the concept of you should make the most of a sale now while feeding on the fear of missing out phenomenon among consumers. I mean, how can I blame them? The moment we see an influencer on Instagram wearing a shirt from Fashion Nova, we immediately run to the credit card since the concept of keeping up with trends has been deemed of utmost importance. Ladies and gentlemen, this rampant consumeristic ideas does not exist without its consequences. Environmental distress, personal financial burdens, unethical mass productions of clothing are only the tip of the iceberg. Once again, we see how as technology advances and civilization progresses, we interpret history and media to suit current societal stratas, such as gaining profits. Life is like a painting where no two people can have the same opinion on it. The art of perspective has evolved a peaceful concept of mindful awareness, such as Carpe Diem, to the risk-taking behavior of buying the cute dress you've been eyeing on because YOLO. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Carpe Diem aesthetic of the modern world, truly by the art of perspective.
Right, thank you very much. Now let's move on to our next speaker.
Okay. You just breathed your last. How are your family and your friends? Remember you? Someone trustworthy? Someone kind? Someone selfless? How we choose to live our life now is how we will be remembered later. We only live once. A Russian novelist said that the mystery of human existence lies in finding something to live for. This simply means living our life as well as we can, using each breath to live a purposeful and meaningful life, and to leave the world a little better. This is where volunteering, through altruistic and humanitarian concerns, comes in. Volunteering impacts our life, and it impacts the lives of others. A 2017 study in England documented the life-changing impact of volunteering. It improves our mental and physical health, increases our overall well-being and life satisfaction, as well as decreases the attack of depression. When we feel that our actions matter, it improves our outlook on life, strengthening our mental health. In today's society, mental health issues run rampant. In Malaysia, for instance, the 2019 National Health and Morbidity Survey tells us that 500,000 people show symptoms of depression. This number has only skyrocketed with the COVID-19 pandemic. In lockdown, my world is confined to my house, 4 walls. I felt at one point that I was wasting my life away, each breath purposeless and meaningless. I then decided to crowdfund for an orphanage, raising 5,000 ringgit. The quote, "We rise by lifting others," rings true. When I saw the happy faces of the children in the photos that were sent to me and experienced the sincerity of the donors, I was profoundly impacted. I hadn't just made a difference in their lives, but in mine too. The decision to volunteer fulfilled my needs for purpose and meaning. I felt a sense of accomplishment that I could positively impact others. Goldie Hawn aptly stated this: giving gives you a purpose. When you have a purpose-driven life, you're a happier person. Let's look at a well-known humanitarian, Mother Teresa. She impacted lives and restored the dignity of the shunned, the unwanted, and the unloved in Calcutta, India. Today, her legacy lives on, and the Mother Teresa Foundation continues to change millions of lives. After you've breathed your last, all that's left is what you've done for others. Volunteering is life-changing to the target individuals and to the volunteer. After I've breathed my last, I want to be remembered as someone who had left the world a little better. As Ethel Andrews said, it is only in giving oneself to others that we truly live. So, make that one simple choice. After all, you only live once.
All right, thank you, Conley Pei, for that amazing speech. And now we invite next speaker,
Testing, testing.
Tiu Yu. You have the floor.
All right. YOLO. It is the most cringiest thing I just said. My God, why did I just say that? No one even uses it anymore. No one even uses it anymore. Why is that? I mean, don't get me wrong, the intent of YOLO, you only live once, is quite motivational. But why doesn't anyone use it? Well, to answer that question, first we need to delve to its origin, its purpose, its history. The furthest I could trace back to the definition of YOLO was to Adam Mesh in his reality TV show, where he wanted to put a lot of shirts, merchandises with the word YOLO. His intent was that YOLO was to seize the day, to get all the opportunities inside life. So basically, carpe diem. But such a humble beginning, why is it associated with being reckless? Why? Well, there are multiple culprits, but the most probable culprit I'll be using will be Twitter, because of course it is. So, what tweet made such chaos to change the perspective of YOLO? He was a rapper, and he, quote, said that driving 120 miles per hour, hashtag F it YOLO. That was his last words, and he died driving. So it's reasonable to see, and given that news will definitely try to cover this, that a lot of people have this warped perception of YOLO. So that's probably why no one uses it, because we think it's like a taboo word. You're being considered reckless. No one wants to be considered reckless. But that's the perspective of someone who's just an observer. What about the people who actually use it? Well, the people who used to use it. The people of the internet. To get right to it, first we need to explain what is a meme for those who don't know. Memes are words, pictures, sentences, videos that are widely used among the people of the internet. For them to have such widespread is for us to have a very short attention span. And also that means memes can have around a few months, a few years at best. Once you use it way past its life expectancy, you'll be considered you're cringy. I think action speaks louder than words. So let me give you an action. Hey, yo, what's up, dog? Are you feeling lit today? All right, wanna go skateboarding? Cause I know you're so cool. XD! You know that feeling you're feeling right now? That why is he doing this? Or this is so embarrassing and I just want to laugh. That is cringe. It's the feeling of how it's unnatural and it'll be embarrassing to all sides of the speakers. That is cringe. So now we have an added layer, not only from the perspective of people who don't use the internet, but the people who use the internet. Both reckless, and the other is that it's too embarrassing to say. But what are my final thoughts? Well, to answer the first question that I gave, why no one uses it, it's because the perspective of it has changed. And while many things will remain the same, the world will keep changing. The language will change. Our culture will change. Nothing can withstand to the test of time because we're only human and we'll only keep changing. That's all.
All right, thank you for your speech. Now let's move on to the next speaker.
Testing, testing. Hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes, Omar, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. There, the timer starts, 4 minutes on the clock. I have one chance, one take to be someone to somebody in this hall today. Ladies and gentlemen, that seems a bit familiar to life, doesn't it? The idea that we only have one chance and we can't put it to waste. The idea that we only have one chance to be our current age, one chance to make an impression on everybody, and one chance to ace our exams. Seems as if there's a bit too much at stake here, doesn't it? You only live once. Do it right. That's not what YOLO is supposed to mean for us today, ladies and gentlemen. That's actually what I'm going to be talking about here today. I'm not going to be melodramatic. I'm going to be pragmatic, all right? Among the view of what YOLO is supposed to be about and how it has ruined my life here today. Let's look back at the picture that I painted for you earlier. The idea that one must succeed in life because you only have one chance. This vague term has been squeezed into this ideology that everything in our life is contingent on us making the right decisions, the right choices, or else everything in our life becomes completely useless. This has become a social standard, a social stigma. The mechanism that defeats option, a coercive life, a coercion. It stressed me out constantly thinking about what education stream I was about to take in the future. YOLO, they said. Be a doctor, be an entrepreneur. Nah. Ladies and gentlemen, understand that sometimes in life, birth lotteries exist. Where sometimes I can't just be that good in academics. Sometimes if you want to get a scholarship, you have to have good contacts, you have to have good academics. Or maybe in businesses where everything involves luck. Or maybe in relationships where if you just don't look good, you're not going to end up getting a girlfriend, right? So you can't really say YOLO to someone who can't pay for their tuition in order for them to get good academics, for them to enter college, essentially, right? So understand that YOLO was never about don't mess up. It was about making sure we don't fall into this endless loop of thinking. In the words of Steve Jobs, remembering that you are about to die is the best way of avoiding the trap of thinking there is something to lose. That was the message Carpe Diem was trying to convey. It was trying to say that each individual's life is their own game to play. We find our own meaning in life. This is my own 4 minutes to do. I can do anything. Whether it be wearing this songkok today or wearing this baju Melayu today, or be happy whether I have a girlfriend or not. It's my life and I have control over it. However, put us in that much position of power and yeah, we can be self-destructive. YOLO has been made a term to justify people's means of violence and discrimination against other people. Racism, I used it to make fun of my Chinese and Indian friend. Oh, YOLO, all right? I beat up someone on the street, I bully them. YOLO. Or extremism, right? Someone enters a mosque and starts killing everybody and murdering everybody who is praying. Oh, YOLO. There are reasons why YOLO died after 2012. There is a reason why hashtag YOLO has become a topic for this competition. There's a reason why 107 of our speeches here today were uniquely different. It's because YOLO had lost its meaning. And with that, I've never been prouder to end my speech.
All right. Thank the speaker for that speech. And I invite the next speaker that we have. Miss Adeena Salimi. Adeena Salimi, you have the floor.
All right. Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Welcome to society, home of the free. As long as you are willing to be who we want you to be. Welcome to society, where what's between your legs makes you less than the rest. Too skinny and you're a stick. A little bigger, you're a pig. Eat too much, you're a glutton, but too little, you're trying way too hard. Welcome to society. You're a terrorist if you're modest. Oh, that's too sexy. Now cover up. Welcome to society, where your every single move is criticized. Oh, but don't worry, we accept you. Lies. Welcome to society. Enjoy your stay. Ladies and gentlemen, I wrote that poem earlier this year. Never in a million years would I have thought anyone would actually hear it, yet here you all are. And I'm not sharing this with you to brag about my love for poetry and words, but because you all understand. Think about it. All of you here today have in some way or other been held back by the shackles of society. You only live once. You only have one life. You've heard that so many times. But all your life, you've lived by the rules. You've dressed how people want you to dress. You've acted how people want you to act. It is time for that to stop. So hello, members of society. I'm sitting here talking to you today wearing a whole blazer. But honestly, I feel so naked. I feel totally exposed right now. Like all of you are staring at me, pointing out my flaws one by one by one. But see, the truth is, none of it is real. Life is a scam. Society is a scam. And existence is a scam. Because if there was one thing we all had in common, it's that we only have one life, one chance to make a real impact in this world. So, to be frank, no one has the time to care who you try to mimic, what you dress like, or what you do with your life. And yes, there will always be people who judge you for your every single move, but there's no point in wasting your life changing how they live theirs. So you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Wear that outfit in the corner of your room that you've been too scared to wear. Post those pictures on Instagram. Curse out loud, for God's sake, because nothing is more graceful than being yourself. Fall in love. Fall in love with beauty, with romance, with words. Because I promise you one thing. I promise you that if you can learn to love the little things in your life, the way the rain smells, the way the moon paints the sky, these beautiful colors in the evenings, and the way the stars can light up even the darkest of nights, I promise you that you will always have a reason to smile and a reason to enjoy yourself. Because this is your life, and you are the only one who can live it. So die with memories and not dreams. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your speech. And now let's move on to the next speaker. And I invite Ms. Dhakshini Gunalan.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. In this fast-paced life of ours, which is spontaneously changing, dealing with different people, making speedy decisions, and the chaotic life most of us are in the midst of all of this, do we really know where are we heading, or are we just aimlessly running? In the whole process of growing and evolving in life, are we really living it to the fullest? Enjoying every moment as we embrace it? Because all of us have this one shot in living the life we dream of, to bring on our individual legacy to this world. Now, I'm talking so much about life because life is such a beautiful and magical thing we all own. No one is going to take it away from us, and we are not letting them take it either. YOLO, I say, you only live once to create the life you dream of, to create the life you will love. Not to forget, ladies and gentlemen, in this one lifetime, what do we strive for? Is it our qualities, happiness, or our principles? Who are we really inside? Now, these questions we often ask ourselves in one lifetime, but we can't answer them till the end. However, we must keep in mind that the whole journey of finding the purpose is what life is all about. Now, to find the purpose, we must self-evaluate ourselves and find the true value of us. By figuring out that page, we will have the audacity to create the life we desire. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you only live once. Without understanding the you, there will be no purpose for your existence to matter. Secondly, in this one lifetime, do we really need negativity? I've once heard a wise man said that, there are no enemies outside the soul. The real enemies are inside us, which are anger, pride, greed, and hate. Instead, let's just shove away all these negative aura and focus on the positives of our lives. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you only live once. If we can rid ourselves from these bad values and act upon our dreams, trust me, positivity will surely lift us up. Last but not least, are we just going to imagine everything we want to do? Or are we going to strive for it? Are you going to keep telling yourself that I am waiting for the perfect time? Because I've told myself many times, but trust me, it will never come if you don't put your mind to it. So we have to prove that we are more than just dreams. We make it work. This life is given to us to explore, discover, reborn, relight, and bring in new ideas, leave a great impact to the world we are in now. This short life is hard, and it's filled with different challenges and circumstances. But instead of blaming, let's live it. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this gift we all hold must be cherished with an aim, purpose, positivity, confidence, and most importantly, patience. Let's make this life worth it. And remember, however you choose to go in your lives, whoever you want to be, or how crazy your dreams are, just remember one thing which will keep you moving forward. If not now, then when are you going to do it? YOLO. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, speaker, for that speech. And I invite the next speaker. I have Mr. Suvin Chin Chandran.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and to the panel of adjudicators over here. Today, I would like to present a speech titled Try. Imagine that if you were able to time travel back into the 15th century and tell a person that in the future, there will be flying motor vehicles, you will most likely receive this response. Are you insane? I mean, It is completely absurd enough to automate your vehicles artificially, but making it fly completely and utterly mental. However, ladies and gentlemen, I do shoot. Wait, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Can I restart this, please? Oh.
Okay, you want to restart? Sure.
Yeah, because it's kind of stumbled a little. All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and panel of adjudicators. Today, I would like to present a speech titled "Try." Imagine that if you were able to time travel back into the 15th century, and you were able to tell a person that in the future there will be flying vehicles, you will most likely receive this response: "Are you insane?" I mean, for sure, it seems absurd enough that automating a vehicle artificially might sound sophisticated, but making it fly completely and utterly mental. However, ladies and gentlemen, we do have these flying vehicles today, which are able to travel far distances, and even some that are capable of escaping the Earth's boundaries. It's simple. Try. You might be thinking, how can this simple word create incredible things into our life? The first step to achieve success is to try. Now, there are many people, especially us, we have this negative mindset that we set ourselves, that we think that we are incapable of doing many things based on our limits. That is the reason why we couldn't step forward and we couldn't try new things, because we are imprisoned in these mind-forged manacles. If we do not try, we wouldn't know if we succeed. God created us with one life, and within that life, we're supposed to spend it to the fullest extent. When we are doing anything at all, even the simplest work, we should not take it as a grain of salt, but instead put our best foot forward. Let me give you a brief example of myself. I am undoubtedly a shy and timid introvert. Growing up, I barely spoke a word. You occasionally use hand gestures and slight murmurs to converse with others. However, one significant day, a friend invited me to this public speaking competition. At first, I was intrigued, but astonished at the same time. Why would I ever want to join a public speaking competition? I will be a laughingstock. I will be discriminated. I'll be humiliated. Why? I was throwing in complaints and arguments against my friend, and he just said one thing, a single word that I first thought was meaningless, but eventually I had a second thought about it. A 4-letter word, YOLO, YOLO, you only live once, sparked my mind, and I was completely flabbergasted. I then realized that I should indeed try to join this competition, not to win, but to gain the experience of public speaking. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why today I am delivering this speech to all of you, so that you would as well step out of the box and try new things, explore, be creative, be innovative, and most importantly, try. Therefore, I conclude my speech with an inspirational quote by the 32nd US President Franklin D. Roosevelt. As he once said, "It is common sense to take a method and try it. But if it fails, admit it frankly and try another. But above all, try something." Thank you.
All right, thank you for that speech. Now can we have the next speaker? Is Ning Marn.
Am I audible? Okay.
Yes.
So I'll start in 3, 2, 1. Let's travel the world. Hashtag YOLO. Let's eat all flavors of ice cream. Might get diabetes? No worries. Hashtag YOLO. Most people use this as a hashtag or phrase to say when you want to do something crazy or stupid. The backstory is that you only have one life to live. This justifies that you should be able to do whatever you want, try new things, and make quicker decisions. YOLO is a chance for you to finally feel free. That every now and then you should be able to do something out of the ordinary. That you should embrace life as it is and not try to end it, knowing that you only have one shot. YOLO has a lot of benefits that are instantly impacted on teenagers today. They teach you how to not keep looking back to the past, not to constantly let it bother you. YOLO tells us not to procrastinate, not to wait for that one day to come, not to be hesitant when making decisions. Stop worrying over things that do not deserve your attention. Don't hold back. Because why? YOLO. But alas, although YOLO has its benefits, it also has its harms. People often say that YOLO doesn't make up for the bad decisions you make. For example, getting drunk once just to see how it feels like, and then the next morning you find out you did the dirty, or seeing what it's like to climb a tall monument, making silly faces and joking around, and suddenly you fall to your death. Yes, YOLO talks about trying to take risks, but remember that you don't get any second chances. When doing something completely reckless ends up hurting yourself or other people, you can't rewind time and say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. You might like doing crazy things every day and not bother about education or homework because of YOLO, that you should have fun as you get one life. But then your future ends up looking dim and you start to regret it. You have to constantly remember that there are consequences to your actions, that there is a chance that you might not have thought through what you're getting yourself into. And when things go horribly wrong, where you're supposedly trying to live your life, it can be much too late. Remind yourself that there are people who care for you and be open-minded about them too. No matter what, in the end, the overall message is that YOLO is a great advice to say. It is fun to take risks once in a while, to appreciate your time on earth, to live a little, have a life that has purpose. But always keep in mind that if you go over that line, you don't get another attempt to try it again, to carry that burden on your shoulders, or have the constant reminder that you might have killed or devastated someone. Life isn't something you can control, which is what makes every day so special. Use it to do something unique, something simple, or something extra. Let go a little. Life shouldn't just be about studying and doing serious stuff. But keep in mind every now and then what you are doing. Consider everyone else and yourself. Now, once you're done listening to this speech, try something new that doesn't involve you jumping off a cliff. Why? YOLO. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ning Marn. Next, we move on to the next speaker and the final speaker, actually, for the intermediate category, is Jenny Ooi.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Starting in 3, 2, 1. I like to paint sometimes. It's just a little hobby of mine, you know. Today I want to share some of my knowledge and experience in art, because right next to me right now there's a huge plastic palette with just a big mess of colors on it. However, the color that always catches my eye the most out of all like the millions of colors on like the color wheel, right, is gray. We describe gray as achromatic in art, meaning that it is a hue that is devoid of color. It's very lifeless, very desaturated, very dull. Taking a good look at our current situation, all of our lives in the status quo, I call our reality pretty achromatic, to say the least. I know that there are some days that all of us here, we mutually share. We're just waking up, we dread the day ahead of us. It's just not a good feeling at all. It's just a boring moment. It's just an exhausted moment. And where weeks become just numbers on the calendar. And we feel emotions only in brief moments when we're watching TV or winning a game, where just being alive makes us feel lethargic. With or without the pandemic, before or after the lockdown, regardless of online or physical school and work, I think that at some point in all of our lives, the world can be very, very great. Our lives and happiness have become contingent on exciting moments in life. It's just become like existence has become so conditional in a way. There's tons of terminology in like psychology that describes this, whether it's depression or a midlife crisis, but it's just, for me, it's like staring into a blank canvas that's just doused and covered in a lackluster shade like gray. I suppose that this is where society comes up with this whole term of YOLO, that you only live once, so grab the opportunity and just go crazy, drive you out of the state of boredom, to drive you out of the state of nothingness. When people are told that they only live once, I suppose that the latter imagines going bungee jumping, doing something major, taking huge risks that just puts their life on line because, well, they might never get to do it again. They might never know what would happen if they do it. So it's just a way to take a very abstract, a very messy hand at life. It's a gamble with life, really. However, I despise and I highly object to that ideology. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you see that when I am told that I only live once, I suppose that they're telling me to sort of value my life, that I'll only be here once to make my own little footprint, my own little impact on this earth, that I'm only here once to take in everything that is around me and, well, appreciate it. Just to appreciate every single moment in my life, to take every next moment as an experience in life. You see, I believe that your life is a canvas and you are obviously the artist, and it's your choice to paint whatever you like, however you like. But you cannot do that if you hate literally every brushstroke that you put down on the canvas. If you don't romanticize a color, if you don't like a certain art style, if you don't try something new, art, just like life, becomes boring. When you don't enjoy the smaller things in life, that's like that's just the table you're sitting on, the screen that you're staring through, all these small things that you start to not enjoy, that's how your world slowly becomes more dull. Everything is a part of your life. Like art, it's a process. You make no mistakes in art. You only make a slip of the brush or just something new to learn. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, instead of making your life boring and gray, make it a masterpiece. Thank you.
All right, thank you to Jenny Wei for that speech. That closes the intermediate section. Let's take a 5-minute break, and we will come back and we will kick off the senior category. So 5-minute break, we'll be back. Okay, everyone, welcome back. Before we start with the senior finalists, let me just check if all judges are ready. Priya, ready? Okay, Shah, are we good to start?
Okay, okay.
All right. Rachel, we good to start?
Yes. We're ready.
Okay, great. Judges are ready. To open up the senior category, can I invite the first presenter, Tan Zi Ting?
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes.
Imagine waking up in the morning in a small, confined space. Imagine not being able to breathe fresh air throughout your life. Just imagine your mother taken away from you the moment you're born. And imagine yourself in a beautiful, luscious green field, worried you will never see it again. This fear, this torment, is the life of billions of animals. In this beautiful world, animals have as much right to live as human beings. We only live once, but so do they. I had the chance to come across this storybook of mine that I used to read when I was younger, while cleaning my room the other day. You know those things you find while cleaning that makes you procrastinate the actual fact that you have to clean? Yes, this book was one of those things. It was a story about a calf and its best friend, a chick, who have both grown up together, dreaming of fulfilling their lives to the fullest. And they did. Their dream was to live together in peace. Whilst the chick grew up into a chicken and the calf matured into a fully grown cow, they built their dreamed home. Because these two animals are so different in size, the design of their home is extraordinary, I must say. They built a small door within a big door, 2 stairs, one big enough for the stride of the cow and one smaller one for the step of the chicken. They were living their life, the life they dreamt of, the only life they had. The story from the book is rather unrealistic, you might say. But the question is, why can't animals in general live the life the same way we humans tell one another, you only live once, so do what you want? People question if animals should have rights, and the answer is yes. Animals deserve to have a life free from suffering and exploitation. Is it true that we have the authority to revoke animal rights just because we are at the top of the food chain? No matter who you are, a life is a life, and that should be respected. Animals cannot speak for themselves, and for that reason, we need to protect them. It is our responsibility to protect them, and we should be proud of it. What I'm saying is that we must save animals, not just endangered or rare animals, but all in general. Millions of cows suffer and die in the meat industry every year. And you cannot believe the number of pigs that die during the transportation from slaughterhouses. We only live once. We have to make choices in this only life we live in. We do not need to consume animals, and we benefit from every possible manner for not eating them. The good news is that eating a plant-based meal does not mean compromising taste or even your comfort foods. About every meat now has a replacement and a substitute, and animals don't mind what humans eat as long as it isn't them. You don't have to go cold turkey overnight, and even once a week makes a huge difference. You have the power to stop all of this. That's the beauty of living. You can be the change. You may be thinking, I only live once too. I want to enjoy meat. It tastes good. But we currently live in a selfish world, and my hope is we'll stop compromising other lives for our very own. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And let's move on to our next speaker in the senior category. Can I invite Miss Anisha Kaur?
Am I audible?
Yes.
You only live once, or hashtag YOLO, bruh, is what most people would say before doing some pretty questionable things, like going to sleep at 11 when your mom told you to go to bed at 10:30. Oh, so rebellious. Or maybe eating an extra slice of cake at a birthday party, even after you've already had your share. Oh, so scandalous. Okay, maybe not that big of a slice. It's too much. Actually, you know what? I'll pass. I'm on a diet. Hey guys, my name is Anisha, and today I want to talk about diet culture. It's the reason so many people, especially young girls like myself, become a million things at once. We become mathematicians, counting every last calorie. We become conjurers when looking in the mirror, coming up with flaws and imperfections. Our bellies too round, our bodies too disproportionate. We become criminals whenever we eat a burger instead of a salad. And mom, I can't go to sleep yet. Can't you see I'm weighing myself? Diet culture is not about being healthy anymore. It's about trying to be perfect, not knowing perfection is a mirage you will never reach. It's about trying to look like those bodies you see in the magazine, not knowing those bodies simply aren't real. Above all, it's about hating yourself, saying you will only be happy after your thighs are slimmer and your arm is less jiggly. But you will never be happy this way because being thin does not equal being happy. You can say, oh, it's not like I have an eating disorder. I don't starve myself or binge eat, then puke it out. But this way of life may progress into that later on. The National Eating Disorders Association found that 20 to 25% of dieting turns into eating disorders. And 35% of those diets become obsessive. Sure, these may look like small numbers, but in reality, these show thousands of human beings slowly killing themselves. All of this happens because you are valuing appearance and shape over health and well-being. You need to change your mindset. Realize that your inherent value does not depend on what gene size you are. At the end of the day, people love you for you. Overcome this toxic cycle. Break it by telling yourself it's okay not to have an hourglass figure because everyone is beautiful in their own way. It's okay not to exercise every day because come on, everyone has lazy days. And it's okay to have comfort foods once in a while. So go out there and eat that extra slice of cake. After all, you only live once. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that speech. And let's move on to the next speaker. Can I have Miss Thandi Akumo?
Hi, am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Okay. Now she want a photo. You already know though, you only live once, that's the motto. YOLO. You only live once, that's the motto, right? Wrong. If you believe in reincarnation, of course. Otherwise, Drake's most iconic lyrics ring poignant and true now more than ever. You want to know what's one thing I love about living in Malaysia? Malaysians love to eat and chill. Y'all don't even say, how are you? I'm fine, thanks. That's English, that's colonialization. In Malay, it's makan sudah, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Now, let me tell you why. Hear me out. I might be stretching it a little bit here, but hear me out. The lesson to be learned here is that life is about well-being. Life is about how full and content we are on a daily basis. Life is about the things we really love, like food, for example. What do you really love? I stand before you today to challenge your current belief that hashtag YOLO is just a reckless thing that kids say. You only live once stands as a sentiment of moral value, a reminder that life in all of its beauty and freedom and recklessness is still a finite gift, not to be wasted. 11th of March, 2020. The world is plunged into absolute chaos as COVID-19 is declared a global pandemic, an international plague. 522 days later, here we are, over 4 million lives lost, and it's still rising. I think I speak for us all when I say I wish somebody had told us before that you only live once. When my friend, a healthy, faithful 20-something-year-old nurse, died from COVID-19 last year, I realized you only live once is also a harsh and bitter truth. I'm nearly a fourth-year medical student, and in about 2 years' time, I will be in a hospital somewhere, probably fighting the Delta +++++ variant alongside other diseases. And you want to know something? I still choose to live the rest of my life learning how to save lives. Why, you may ask? Because we only live once. What do you really love? Now she want a photo. You already know though, you only live once. That's the motto, YOLO. You only live once stands as a stark reminder that life is to be lived and loved. But if we do it right, once is enough. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Thandi, and let's move on to the next speaker for the senior category. I invite Miss Celine Miraba.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can I be heard and seen clearly?
Yeah.
Thank you. Millions of people say you only live once. I beg to differ. You live every single day. And some days offer you opportunities that you should not take for granted. Ladies and gentlemen, there was one situation which made me realize that you need to take every opportunity that you can get in life. Back in February 2020, I was contemplating on whether or not I should attend a face-to-face meeting by a public speaking club. My brain told me, there's going to be so many more face-to-face meetings along the semester. No need to attend this one. Just chill and relax in your dorm room. Nobody asked you to come anyways, right? But there was this gut feeling inside of my heart which told me, go. Just go. You have nothing to lose. You don't even have assignments yet. Go. It was as if my gut feeling was fighting against everything my brain was saying. And in the end, my gut feeling won. So I ended up going in early March 2020. And let me tell you, I had an amazing experience and tons of fun. Today, I'm here in my room reflecting on that important choice I made. Travel restrictions and the various lockdowns have caused face-to-face meetings to have been gone from my life for a long time now. Especially as an international undergraduate student coming from Indonesia, studying in a university located in Malaysia, it has even become hard for me to get back to Malaysia. How would have I felt if I had not gone to that meeting? I don't know. And honestly, I don't want to think about it. You see, on that meeting day, the remarkable thing that happened is I got to know someone. And that someone ended up becoming the person who got me through my first online semester with so much more happiness and resilience, made it so much more bearable and fun. We even ended up working together in the same committee for another club for 1 year. All I can say is my life in the last 17 months would have been significantly different if I had not gone. At least I can say that I have photos on my phone and memories in my head that are irreplaceable. I would have had none if I had chosen to wait another time. I would have had none if I thought that life would offer me endless opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, you only live once. But to live your life to the maximum, you need to take the chance that the present day offers. Things can flip in an instant. So when your gut tells you to take the opportunity, take it. Because opportunities like these may not come knocking on your door twice. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And now our final speaker for this grand finals, I have Mr. Arif Fodos bin Azmi.
Hello there. Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I'll begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Courage. If there is a word from the English dictionary that is most suitable for the topic of discussion of today, it is courage. Contrary to the current popular belief of let life be, it actually takes a lot of courage to face this infinite nexus of uncertainty and randomness we call life. If we don't have the courage to do something, well, we won't do it then. Hello, I'm Arif Fodos. The American singer Drake, he coined a phrase which carries a very obvious but also very important message. You only live once, or #YOLO. Human beings are in fact inclined to try and experiment with risky behavior to believe and also to achieve something they believe is meaningful. That's how one and of a kind achievements were made. However, and I'm sure you all can relate to this, the COVID-19 pandemic has limited our capacity to go out and do something risky. The biggest risk we could actually take right now would be to go out without a mask with the possibility of a 1,000 ringgit fine. Now, as for me, myself, now I don't go out without a mask or anything, I don't have the money, but I was lucky enough to manage to return to my campus. I'm one of you lucky ones managed to return. Why? Well, one day a friend actually, she randomly messaged me. She asked, Arif, do you want to be a moderator for a program? The program was a forum. The panelists were 3 public intellectuals. And the organizer, it was the Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka, the DBP. This is no kids game. This is no child's play. This is an event with VIPs and more than 1,000 viewers that will be shown live and eventually eternalized on Facebook. Now, coming to the idea of let life be that I established before, I would say no to the offer because, well, if I screw up, God knows what will happen to me. But coming to the wisdom of YOLO, I would say yes to the offer because this is a huge honor. And I'm very grateful to choose the latter option. I said yes to the offer, I packed my bags and returned to campus. Was I scared? No, I was terrified. Did I do it? Yes, and even though the pressure was real, the event was a massive success. You only live once, I told myself, and having my face on the DBP posters everywhere and a host of a discussion with these big people, my adrenaline spiked and it was the biggest act I ever pulled. The self-doubt, the constant insecurity, the introvertedness, all gone. And the forum was indeed my biggest YOLO moment. Arif, what's the secret formula? That was so amazing. The forum, it was lit. How did you do it? Some people asked me via WhatsApp after the forum was complete. To which I say, ladies and gentlemen, there is none. There is no secret formula. There is no special formula or anything. The only thing you actually need is courage. The courage to try new things, the courage to push your limits, even the courage to actually make mistakes. Because if I just chicken out and just, let the offer pass by and reject the offer, well, I wouldn't be able to tell that story for all of you. And I wouldn't be able to meet such amazing intellectuals, because why would they want to meet a random person like me? And the posters with my face, the DBB posters with my face, they will never exist, because what kind of underpaid graphic designer want to make a random poster for me? It makes zero sense. So coming to the wisdom of YOLO, I would like to remind all of you, ladies and gentlemen, let us all take a step back and actually look deep into our hearts with deep introspect, and you will realize you have a lot of capacity, a lot of talents that can be used. And when you realize these talents, seize it, utilize it, seize any opportunity you can find in front of you and make the best out of it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there's one fundamental truth: you only live once. So go out there and make your very own #YOLO moment. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much to all finalists. That wraps up the grand finals of the Malaysia National Public Speaking Championship. So as the judges deliberate, we will wait for their results, and we will announce it very, very soon. Thank you, everyone.